I want to close on this. So can you tell me what African country is currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan because
Okay,
I'm
good.
not an idiot.
How about what Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Oh my God, he did see that coming. He thought Charlie Kirk, I think he's supposed to be some kind of a spokesman or the founder of Turning Point USA. And to be honest, I don't know who looks up to this guy. Aside from right-wing, peanut-brained idiots.
Calm down a little bit, like just a little bit. Pounding the table, you're all over the place. No, you want me to go piece by piece, or would you like me to talk slower?
The reason why he's being patronizing is because he knows the guy listed a lot of things that contradict everything Trump ran for and everything that this guy, Charlie, campaigned for Trump for. So to buy himself a little extra time to figure out what to say, he needs to patronize the guy a little bit. It's fine. There's no need to be patronizing. Just respond to what he said.
Convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Joe Biden gave them armaments.
That's going well, isn't it? It's going well.
Can you not interrupt me?
well.
I allowed you to talk uninterrupted.
You're famous for not interrupting.
Yeah, I haven't interrupted a single person here today. Can I speak uninterrupted, actually? Okay. He is convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. I believe we will see an end to that war. Number two, he's actually talking to Iran and discouraging Israel to strike the interior of Iran.
This did not age well at all, bro. One, that war is still ongoing. Hold on, when did this video come out? This video came out ago. Okay, so this came out back in May. Okay, we're in June right now. This came about a month ago. The Ukraine war is still ongoing, and Iran situation got 1,000 times worse. Hold on, I gotta play this back.
He is convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. I believe we will see an end to that war. Number two, he's actually talking to Iran and discouraging Israel to strike the interior of Iran.
He's discouraging Israel from striking Iran. Oh my God, this did not age well at all, at all. Bipartisanly, everybody on both the aisle knows that the whole thing was stupid and it should have never happened. And by whole thing, I mean like the Iraq situation, the Afghanistan situation, a lot of the things were unnecessary, okay? And all of it were built on lies. There was no weapons of mass destruction, all that kind of stuff. Now you're telling me that the exact same excuse was used on Iran, a country that does, as far as we currently know, according to the international community, that there's zero nuclear weapons had found, okay? And Israel has been, that these guys are like, you know, a month away from having nuclear since 1998. Okay, people have made footages of Netanyahu presenting his little thing and going around and saying like, oh, they're literally close, they're literally close. Meanwhile, Israel is not part of the nuclear pact, the nuclear national nuclear sort of program that I think is nuclear provision, the NPT. Like, Israel refused to join NPT. Israel refused to have international community members to come in and inspect the nuclear facilities. Israel refused to admit whether they have nuclear bombs or not. So let me get this straight. You telling me the same people who have been lying about a particular country having nuclear bombs or nuclear weapons have nuclear weapons themselves, and they're accusing that country of illegally developing it when they illegally acquired it. Honestly, if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what would.
While we were being invaded by foreign powers. And thirdly, he is brokering a potential settlement with Iran that will prevent a major escalation in the Middle East.
Oh my God. He's brokering a settlement that's gonna stop this. Man, if I was him, I'd literally take this down. Because think about it this way. If you're telling me Trump equals, think about it this way. If you're telling me Trump is good because of these reasons that he just laid out, 99.9% of those reasons, the complete opposite of them happened. What does that say about your vote for Trump? Does that say that your vote was wise or was it unwise? I leave the ball in your court. What do you think?
And finally, it is very difficult, but I believe they'll get it done, that we'll finally see an end to the Russian-Ukrainian war. Okay, again, so Trump and Putin had a 2-hour phone call today. You'll acknowledge that's a good thing. The pursuit of peace can sometimes be a winding road, and it's a lot better than sending hundreds of billions of dollars further into the killing fields of eastern Ukraine, something that tragically both the UK government and the US government has been unnecessarily supporting for a couple of years.
Unnecessarily supporting Ukraine to defend itself, but it's okay to support Israel to defend itself. Got it. And by the way, he was pressed on this issue, and you know what his response was? As Christians, we are biblically like He used the whole, we're Christians and we're close because of religion. This is the exact same thing that Ted Cruz used. That I think I might start the video here. The whole point I'm trying to make here is that this idea that we're wasting money on Ukraine is honestly like such a non-point, because they don't actually have an issue with the fact that they're giving out money. They have an issue with who they're giving the money to. That's literally what it's about. It has nothing to do with, oh, are we spending enough money on blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. What matters is, who am I giving the money to? If I give it to Israel, it's okay. But if I give it to Ukraine, it's not okay. Why? Because I like Israel and I don't like Ukraine. That's basically what it boils down to. It has nothing to do with wasting money and all that kind of stuff. They don't care about that.
If you're coming to me and you're objecting to America selling weaponry, why are you defending shilling for the Saudis?
Well, hold on. One is sending weaponry, one is purchasing. Secondly, you do know that the biggest purchase that was announced was commercial airliner, 737, $100 billion. We've heard of Qatar Airways. They purchased $100 billion of commercial airways. You are right, there were some weapons contracts. But I guess the question is, would you rather have Saudi Arabia buy weapons from America or China?
Hold on a second. Hold on. This doesn't even make any sense. Who does it matter? Like, why does it matter who they get weapon from? If the end result is that the Middle East is going to have more weapons floating in the midst of it, why does it matter who's supplying it? I honestly don't get that point. I wish he was pressed on it a little bit more. Why does it matter who they get the weapons from? Why does that matter? Why is that a point?
Evils of Hamas. Can I ask you, who's the main funder of Hamas?
Well, the Palestine...
State?
Well, the West actually funds Hamas.
Which state?
Well, Iran funds...
No.
Also,
where are the Hamas leaders?
And also Qatar funds Hamas.
Yes.
It is a combination of international relief organizations.
Is this a state we should have a 400 million jet with the President of the United States on it?
Hold on. First of all, it was not given to him personally. I understand the optics of it, but it was not given to him personally. It was given to the U.S. government. And under that standard, no U.S. government should ever receive any gifts from any foreign countries whatsoever. It's not given to him personally and not a violation of the...
Why is he trying to transfer it to his personal...
He was in fact given to him personally. That's just a lie. And it is a very clear sign of bribery. Could you guys imagine how Charlie Kirk would have reacted if Biden accepted a $400 if Biden would have accepted a $400 million jet from Qatar or from the Saudis? Could you imagine what that would happen? I wonder.
In the weeds, if you want to keep on going we can.
It's a fundamental moral principle.
Okay, so under that fundamental moral principle then, can you acknowledge though that President Trump is getting more done in a less period of time than any president we've seen, while our prior president did not even know what year he got elected?
Understand how funny it is that the man who did not know what year he got elected, could you imagine how sad it is that that guy was a more peaceful president, globally speaking, than mentally competent Trump? Just think about it. We're like, what, just about 7-8 months into his presidency, and we're involved in how many wars already?
You understand the contrast here.
What aboutism again? I'm not a defender of Biden.
I'm not saying President Trump is far better than the predecessor.
You have to defend the person you spent millions to elect.
I will defend every day of someone who ends an invasion.
That's all you do, is
brings down the price of oil, who is revitalizing the American...
He did not end any invasions. He actually started a new one.
Who is revitalizing the American economy.
The American economy has not seen any revitalization so far. Actually, we've seen more market crashes during his presidency within the first 2 months than we've seen during Biden's 4 years.
Who's brokering peace.
He actually started new wars, so no peace in the Middle East so far.
Who stopped the potential nuclear war, who is bringing Iran to the table.
He actually kicked Iran off the table.
Want armed conflicts with the greatest powers of our time. I will defend that endlessly.
He started wars with... Every point he's made so far is the complete opposite of what's happening right now.
In a fantasy world of your own creation.
Absolutely true. He's not living on this planet, and this is what it looks like when somebody is dogmatic. Like this is what dogma looks. When somebody becomes disillusioned, when one individual, one entity, or one idea, that they just are completely blind to all the mishaps and all the wrongdoings of that thing that they're believing in. This is exactly what that looks like. He cannot objectively look at Trump and say he's wrong here, he's wrong here. Why? Because it will invalidate his entire platform. It will invalidate USA Turning Point. It will invalidate the fact that he ran on, conservatism, USA First, and all that kind of stuff. Republican. He doesn't care about America. He cares about the idea of what it means to support a Republican president. That's all.
So it's quite hard to engage
with. But then disprove it.
Let's check on how Trump is doing in terms of diplomacy. Look, with the war in the Middle East, do you think it was a defensible decision to tell the Israelis you wanted Trump Gaza to agree for Israel to invade the Gaza Strip and to continue to murder thousands of innocent children and civilians in a pointless war. Is that in America's interest? Is that in humanity's interest?
Well, first of all, you should know something about Trump. There's something, if you realize with Trump over the last 10 years, he is quite the social media user and uses hyperbolic language at times. But let me ask you, in the conflict of Israel versus Hamas, who's the good guy?
I believe both Hamas and the Israeli government are evil, but I think also that there is no justification.
Are they equally?
There is no justification for the murder and mutilation of thousands of innocent people and children in a futile...
Let's zero in on it.
There is no justification, Mr. Kirk, for invading hospitals, for bombing innocent populations and dragging out a war which is damaging Israel and the West's security.
You've made that point, but...
Well, it's not a point, it's a moral truth, isn't it?
Okay, yeah. It was also a moral truth that the war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage.
No, that's not why the war started. And also, this idea of like sort of putting Israel on one end and Hamas on the other end, and sort of like morally challenging people. Oh, who's the good guy? It's so disingenuous that it's honestly just laughable. Even if you would assume Hamas didn't exist, okay, which they didn't just about 20 years ago. Even if that case, you could still see major atrocities that were happening in that place. Even if I was to say, let's just say, for example, for argument's sake, let's accept this nonsensical idea that Israel is the good guy. Let's say Israel is the good guy and Hamas is the devil's incarnate. What point does that make? Does the killing of children become any less morally reprehensible? Does the starvation of children and people become less reprehensible? Does the bombing of hospitals become less reprehensible? Like, I don't understand what moral point are you making by saying, well, who's the good guy between Israel? What exactly is being achieved here?
When you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Let me finish, I let you talk. Israel, at its holiest day of the calendar year besides Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, Samat Torah, the 50-year anniversary of the Six-Day War, on Shabbat, Hamas invaded Israel, deciding to go recklessly to music concerts, to homes, to kibbutzes, and taking 200 plus hostages. They knew what they were doing. In one of the most cloistered urban
By the way, it was not a holy day. I don't know what he's talking about.
environments on the planet, 2 million people live in a place where it's impossible to wage war. Impossible. Where they wear civilian clothing, they violate every tenet of the Geneva Convention.
Do you love it when a Zionist invokes the Geneva Convention, the same convention that accused Israel of committing war crimes? The same international communities that literally are saying, like, there's an arrest warrant out for the prime minister who carried out this exact same, like, rhetoric and pushed it. Isn't it funny when the Geneva Convention is conveniently used to push the rhetoric that they want to push? I don't know. What's the point of like having these international communities if honestly they can't enforce anything? Like, what is the point?
And the IDF, when they do something right, they get no credit. When they do life-saving surgeries of a Gazan child, they get no credit. When they drop leaflets, they get no credit. But when they happen to bomb a place where they are operating their military from, which we now know from third-party verified sources, hundreds of Hamas military operations are in mosques, schools, and hospitals. I'm sorry, the country where they were living in relative peace on October 6th.
Yeah. So they operated their military from a refugee camp. Got it.
That all of a sudden we had a war, and Hamas started the war. And I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die. I don't like it, and you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves. The only operation and entity to blame is the leadership of
The fact that they use this parable to try and compare what happened during World War II and what is currently happening is beyond hilarious, because Germany went out of its way to invade its neighboring countries and it wanted to basically, like, it was on a conquest, and people defended themselves from it, and they preemptively, or even sometimes maybe not preemptively, but they attacked Germany to stop their expansion and their atrocities they were carrying out. You tell me that is the exact same thing as a landlocked, like, open cage prison, folks who are like in that situation, everything they even if they want like fruits, if they want to have a watermelon, it needs to be inspected by the IDF. You're telling me people living in no circumstances are the same as the Nazi Germany who carried out the atrocity they carried out, and people carpet bombing Germany is the same as people carpet bombing a land of like almost entirely children and women, almost entirely. You tell me that's the same thing? Man.
how should Israel have responded?
You're telling me the exact same country that has the ability to know the precise location of every military general of a nation that they were not involved in a war in. They don't have the ability to know where the operation and the individuals involved in an attack that they knew was going to happen, and the attack is coming from a group of people whom you control every aspect of their life, the food that comes into their place, the water and the fruits that they even have access to from the outside world. You control all that, and you couldn't get access to where they operate from, and you needed to carpet bomb the region for over a year and kill hundreds of thousands of people. Somehow magically you had the ability to precisely kill every single military leader, who's basically every person under the supreme leader of Iran. Every single person was killed in one attack. Like overnight, they made sure that they made sure that the supreme leader had nobody, but they couldn't do the exact same thing in Gaza. Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I want to close on this. So can you tell me what African country is currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan because
Okay,
I'm
good.
not an idiot.
How about what Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Oh my God, this he didn't see that coming. He thought remember, these neocons operate on the idea of the gotcha questions. Like their whole spiel is literally like, I'm gonna go to a school, find some liberal, stupid college students and just make them look dumb. And I'm gonna come off like the conservative, like Republican, logical, like facts don't care about your feelings kind of guy. And he just one of those moments and just try to farm some clips. And he just farmed the dumbest clip where he looks like an absolute moron. This guy really thought like, oh, you care about Gaza? Okay, what about Africa? What about Southeast Asia? Well, what about? And the guy literally hit him with answers like this, immediately knew these questions. What an idiot, bro. I wouldn't even be surprised if the only reason why he knows about these conflicts, to be honest, is just so he can use like these, just so he can use them as a gotcha questions on people. Like 90% sure that that's the reason why he knows about that.
You are a culture warrior. I believe when everything is done, Mr. Kirk, people will see you and the people you've supported as corrupt, as selling the country out to the lowest bidder, and of doing irreparable damage to a country I'm sure we all deep down love.
The difference,
I think you will have to reckon with that
difference
one, Mr. Kirk.
is when
he dropped the mic on him and left him. And that's facts. The guy literally told him, there's a difference between you and I. And I do the research to try and learn about what's happening around the world because I actually care about the humanity aspect of things. I'm not a culture warrior. And that's literally what Charlie Kirk, the Ben Shapiro crowd, everybody who's in the whole climate of the neocons, like these neoconservatives, remember, their whole thing is, I'm going to get paid from these donors that make me push these ideas, and I'm gonna push whatever ideas they want me to push, and they try to pretend like they care about freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. Second, freedom of speech is used in their own detriment, right? And opposition to them. They start prosecuting people, locking people up, putting them in jail, starting to say, well, technically the Constitution doesn't apply to international students. The Constitution doesn't apply to, and they try to find like ways to try and justify literally like playing with the Constitution that they really like were making fun of the Democrats for not protecting. Oh, the Democrats are like infringing on our speech, blah, blah. And the second they get empowered, they push the exact same things that the Democrats are pushing. This shows that even these like independent media people, they're frauds. They're frauds who do not care about anything that's happening. Their main priorities are one, making sure that they fill their pockets with as much money as they possibly can, and to try and push whatever agendas that they need to push to make that kind of money. And that's it. That's just about it. They do not care about Sudan. They do not care about like Myanmar. They do not care about Gaza. They do not care about any of these stuff. None of them matter to them. Remember, 90% of this guy's argument led to what? Oh, Trump was not going to get us into new wars. He stopped the war between Pakistan and India. He's negotiating with Iran. He's going to stop Israel from attacking Iran. And a month and a day later, we find out that everything this guy is running and championing Trump for, the opposite of it happened. Not only did it happen under Trump's nose, but Trump knew about it. And now the same guy who said like, oh, he's negotiating this, he is out here today justifying this exact same attack. He's out here justifying it. He says, oh, well, let them attack, but I just don't think like we should be involved with our military troops. It's okay for us to attack them. So what about this argument you were making about the fact that, oh, Trump is the peace president, the president's not gonna get us involved in wars, the president, what happened to all these talking points? I thought you were running on the idea that like, you know, America first, America first, America first. Like it's anything but America first. What domestic policies have been passed that actually like are important to the social fabric of the United States of America? Name one, but they could name 26 different wars we have been involved in, and a gazillion other like military things that we've sent, and billions of dollars that we've donated, and billions of dollars that we as bribery like well, our president got as bribery. Like I don't know, man. He's so disillusioned with his performance in this whole thing. He actually uploaded this whole thing on his own channel, and some of the people in the comments literally are saying like this guy said, "LOL." Like Charlie knows he got cooked, but also knows his fan base is gullible enough to think he won, and that's such a fact. Remember, it only looks like a loss if you do not publicize it. If you publicize it and you put it, and then you say, "Oh, make sure you watch it till the very end," blah blah. Everybody's in there is gonna think that you're performing. Especially the dogmatic people like you who don't care about substance; they care about saying what's being said. Remember how this Charlie guy was going around talking about like how Trump is a good guy because he didn't get us involved in any new wars. He's negotiating a peace deal. This whole thing. When Israel attacked Iran preemptively, and the U.S. decided to get involved, what does he do? Does he actually like criticize the president he championed for these ideas? Does he go out and say, "Yo, Trump, you have betrayed our, you have X, Y, and Z"? Does he criticize him? Absolutely not. He posted a post just about a few days ago saying, "When things are moving very fast and people are losing minds, it's important to stay grounded, turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay." You're telling me so you're telling me the same guy that I voted for to not get me involved in any new wars gets me involved in a new war with a country that was ready to have peace talks with us. And instead of going out and telling me, "Hey, listen, I was wrong and this guy is wrong. We need to correct this whole thing." You say, "Well, just turn off your cell phone, close your eyes, don't look at anything, and just pretend like nothing's happening. Everything's gonna be fine." What? What happened? What happened to I'm gonna champion this guy because of X, Y, and Z? What happened to I voted for this man that get me involved in wars? What happened to all things? The second shit hit the fan, you're gonna go around and say, "Well, close your eyes and pretend nothing is happening." Huh? Anyways, man, like I said before, these guys are frauds, and we're only gonna see more and more of their frauds. Remember, we're not even a year into this presidency. Like we have 3 long years to see how these guys are gonna backpedal and to try to pretend like everything that they push man for is not the opposite of what he's currently doing, or the opposite of what he's gonna continue to be doing. And that's it for me today. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you think about this whole thing.